In a matter of months, Knox County voters will go to the polls to elect a new county mayor. So far, at this point, 4 people running for office, 1 Democrat, 3 Republicans. Over the coming weeks, we will be bringing you those candidates to hear their vision for Knox County. But joining us now is Kim Frazier, Knox County Commissioner, and a Republican vying for the seat of Knox County Mayor.
Hi, Robin. Thank you so much for having me.
Kim, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate
absolutely.
This opportunity to just have a discussion.
Great.
As opposed to just a quick soundbite here and there.
Sure.
This gives us the opportunity to really dig into things. So first off, what I want to dig into is you. I want to learn about Kim Frazier, not the county commissioner, not the mayoral hopeful, but Kim Frazier.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that.
Absolutely.
And I'm always happy to share my story because I love my story. So I grew up in northern Alabama on a 120-acre family farm, surrounded by aunts, uncles, cousins. And my parents and the work on that land taught me the value of hard work. They taught me that your family shapes you, your faith grounds you, and your freedoms provide opportunities, and never take those for granted. And so those are values that I grew up with and that I use to make decisions on a personal basis and a professional basis. I attended the University of Alabama in Huntsville on a Junior Miss scholarship. I worked 2 to 3 part-time jobs. My parents were lower middle class, a working family. We didn't have a lot, but we had everything we needed. And I tell people, I had the childhood that everyone deserves, but very few get to experience. And so in my college years, working 2 to 3 part-time jobs and just spending time with family and friends, I met my husband, who is a UT volunteer with big orange roots and a passion for this community. He is a physician, and he's also a former Knox County SWAT team member. He was the tactical physician there, and he's currently serving in the Air Force as a major. So we have 2 incredible sons, Jackson and Maddox. They both attend the University of Tennessee. They are rising musicians and have a great band. Shameless mom plug there. The band Solstice. Check them out. But they inspire us every day. They really do. And, they're the reason that I really got into this arena. It was because I saw the impact of growth and development on my family and on my community and my child's classroom. And so I've been here now for 30 years. In that time, I've worked as a healthcare executive for a small rehabilitation company. I then decided to go to work for an entertainment lighting company and became their global HR director. I also owned a small business, and then I did some consulting work with other small businesses and also nonprofits to help them with board development. And that's really my story. So we have had such a wonderful, full life. Knox County has been so good to us. As a family, we always find ways to give back to this community and serve, mostly giving of our time. And this is home. This is home. This is where we've built a life. This is where we worship. This is where we've decided to raise our kids. And I just love it, and I want it to be better.
A next chapter
Yes.
is continuing your public service.
Yes.
You have been a county commissioner
I have.
since 2022.
Correct.
Now seeking the Knox County mayor's seat.
Sure.
Why do you want to be Knox County mayor?
Oh, gosh. Well, it really starts with how I got into politics. I tell people, I didn't pursue politics. Politics pursued me and the things that I was passionate about every day. And that was, how is growth and development impacting our families, our communities, and our schools? And I started to ask a lot of questions over a decade ago. Asking questions, building relationships with existing officials, county departments, asking, what are we doing to proactively plan for growth? And I realized then we had plans that were 20 years old. We had zoning ordinances that were almost 30 years old. And there was no appetite to improve those. And so I started an organized community group in Hardin Valley, actually 2 groups, and we worked for 2 years to get 2 schools built and another one on a 5-year capital plan. And so I kind of jumped in both feet, learning very quickly about the local government process and how the decisions made at this level really do impact us more so than anyone realizes. And went all across the county and found people just like me who were concerned about the growth in their area and the impact on their infrastructure. And so we organized those groups and we helped them advocate on behalf of their communities. And so it was through that advocacy work that people kept saying to me, you should run for office. And I would laugh. I'd say, oh no, that's not me. I like building relationships and bringing people together. I didn't know if there was space for me there. And I wasn't a part of the political establishment. And I knew I wouldn't be supported or backed by some of the local politicos. And it was really the hardworking people across Knox County who said, we believe in you. You relate to us. Please step forward. So I first stepped forward, ran for county commission at large, countywide, and we were very successful. The people overwhelmingly chose a community advocate over a heavily backed candidate. And over the last 3.5 years on commission, I made one promise when I came on to commission to the people of Knox County, and that I would put people and community first. And that's exactly what I've done as a commissioner, and that's exactly what I'll do as Knox County mayor. It's because of my work on commission. People have seen that my focus has always been on intentional growth with coordinated infrastructure, because infrastructure touches every aspect of your life. Roads, schools, utilities, emergency services, recreation, you name it, infrastructure touches it. And so on commission, I led the charge to update our zoning ordinances, our subdivision regs, our growth plans, so that we could be more intentional and we could start there. And so it's really about those same people across this county that I've had the privilege of serving came to me and said, we need you to step forward again. And so here I am, Robin. Here I am. This was not on my bucket list, but it's because of the people. It really is. I don't have any allegiance to anyone or any industry or any special interest. My only focus is making our communities better, safer, and creating more opportunity for all.
You hit on growth, and Knox County has experienced tremendous growth. And with that, yes, you hit on the need for greater infrastructure. You know, the county has not raised property taxes in a very, very long time. You addressed the zoning. Zoning needed to be updated. You took on that challenge.
Yes.
Knox County has the 4th highest outstanding debt in the state.
It
does.
You know,
there are challenges in and of itself. How do you do it all?
Sure.
How do you do it all? And where do you stand? Where do you stand on raising taxes in Knox County?
And it's a great question, and I wish that I had all of the answers. I will tell you there isn't a single solution. It will require kind of what I call a patchwork model of addressing different things. The first thing I would say is raising taxes is never anyone's goal, ever. I also want to say that Mayor Jacobs and previous administrations, you know, they've done a very good job providing a level of service with the rising cost of doing business, inflation, flat revenues, fewer people performing the work, and greater public expectation. And what we have found is year after year, that becomes incredibly more difficult. It really does. And so I think whomever is the next mayor, they must be willing to have those hard conversations and discuss our challenges, discuss our revenue, our expenses, our debt, our competing priorities. There are so many competing priorities. But also what is often absent of this conversation is our identified needs. Robin, we've identified $1.7 billion of needed road improvement projects. We can only chip away at that because we haven't kept up. And what I would do is first, coming in as mayor, I would want to do an internal assessment of all county policies, processes, and partnerships and look for opportunity there. Next, we would go out into the public and connect with the people. Our people are our greatest resources. We will learn more about our county spending time in all of these wonderful, unique pocket communities than we will behind a desk trying to analyze data or say, we're just going to make blanket reductions. We will get out into the public and we will have these conversations. We will share what we know. We will tell them about revenues, expenses, debt, identified needs, and we will ask them to help us prioritize. The second part of that is we have to redefine our level of service. A level of service is a standard and an expectation of public services.
I was going to make that point. Is that what you're hearing from people? We pay this, we expect more, but more needs to be done and more is expensive.
Absolutely. And, we can't provide the level of service that we're hearing constituents need without really getting out and figuring out where we can elevate that level of service, where we need to, what is essential, what is not. And we can only do that by listening to the taxpayer. Mm-hmm. And so we'll spend a great amount of time getting out and helping our county folks really redefine that level of service. As I said, we've updated all of our comprehensive land use and transportation plans. We're creating a unified development ordinance, which will help us plan for growth and coordinate infrastructure as we build and pay for it as we go. That's going to be really, really important. And then the other part is, just looking at creative ways to bring in revenue.
Yeah, because is there room to cut? Do you see that there's much room there, especially when you look at some of these, the fund, $700.5 million for education, and as we well know, the cost of everything, whether it be an individual or for a government, is increasing.
And most people don't realize that in local government, our hands are tied on a lot of things due to maintenance of effort agreements or state statutes that require us to provide required public services, and then there are authorized public services. And so those required public services, we have to maintain that level of investment. If we have years or decades of historical investment in those services, they don't want to see us come in and reduce them, especially if the state decides to pay us more. They don't want us to start reducing our investment in those services. And so is there room? There's always room for reductions. It's just going to have to be based on what the taxpayer expects and that level of service being redefined. I don't think that should be up to one person as the mayor. Mm-hmm. I think that should be, like I said, a very collaborative effort, and it should include the people who are actually paying the taxes.
So when you're having conversations with people as you're knocking on the doors and you explain that, is there an understanding?
There is.
Okay.
There is, and I will tell you, over the last 4 years, I have seen a shift. I've seen a shift politically. I've seen a shift in just the culture, in that people realize that they're getting what they pay for. And it grows increasingly more challenging. Again, I'm not saying we are going to raise taxes. What I'm saying is we have to have the conversation. And we haven't really done that well. And that's not anyone's fault, or I'm insinuating anything. I'm just saying it's time for us to get out into the communities and share what we know and ask them to help us chart the path forward.
What sets Kim Frazier apart from the other candidates seeking this office?
That's a great question, and I love this question because I'm the only candidate who has really advocated on behalf of communities on both sides, as a citizen and as an elected official. That gives me such a unique perspective and deep understanding about how the decisions made at the local level impacts our families and our communities. The second part is my allegiance is only to the people. Only to the people, not special interest groups. I am not being backed, funded, or supported by some of those who benefit from Knox County government. My allegiance is to the people. Another important fact is that I am both a manager and a leader, and it requires both. I bring people together, I listen, and I make our citizens a part of the solution. And because I have led the way to update and create a comprehensive land use and transportation plan, I'm the best person to monitor those plans implemented and see, are they yielding the results that we had hoped? And then revisit them. I want to revisit all of our plans, all of our studies, and make sure that we're on track and that we are paying for infrastructure as we develop. And so I bring a lot to the table, and I love people, and I'll always put communities first. And I think that that really does set me apart.
There's so many other questions I could ask you right now. Our time is wrapping up. Please come back. We've got a ways to go until the election, but we would love to have you back to continue this discussion. Kim, thank you very much.
Yes,
we appreciate you.